All right, so today is day 20, squatting every day. I don't think I'm going to change the name, but you should just be aware that I'm not squatting every single day. Although that's my goal, sometimes things just happen, right? So I've missed several days over the course of the last 3 weeks. So today should be more than just day 20, but it is what it is. It's what I can do right now, and I'm going to try and do better in the future. Right now, I share this gym. It's where my brother sleeps. I share the house with my family. It's like sometimes I just don't have access to do exactly what I want when I want it. So, with that being said, I still get to do it at least 80% of the week, if not 90%. So it's a good deal. Anyway, today I wanted to warm up with some posterior chain. I wanted to demonstrate, I guess, my biggest thing I'm trying to exemplify, I guess, is the fact that you should balance your push to pull ratio and keep your joints in mind when you do this. The reason why you should not just train one side of your body for a whole workout is that over time your ligaments and your joints are going to experience like obviously they're under pressure, but they're going to start breaking down from the wear and tear. What you want to do is train your joints and your system, so like your mechanics from both sides, front and back, and even laterally side to side. That's where you incorporate more athletic movements. When we're looking at strength, it's mostly just in the frontal, I guess, or what's it called, the sagittal plane, the forward and backwards. Anyway, so this is called I call it hyperextensions. I've heard it called good mornings. I've heard it called whatever. Basically, you're mimicking like an overcorrection where a weight is forcing your body to collapse. The top half of your body is collapsing, and you're training yourself to correct that. It's training the erector muscles in your lower spine and your glutes and your hips. Good exercise, and it also helps with the squat. And if you don't know how, just imagine the mechanics of the squat. It's like you're bending at your knees, you're leaning forward, bending at the hips, and you're putting your back in a position where it needs to be strong. And so a lot of times you'll see people start to lean forward, or like they have to round their back to get the weight up or something like that. And so this helps with that. I think there's three in my mind. There's at least three different mechanics when it comes to squats, and this is one of them. Being able to maintain your erector muscles in a safe position while under heavy strain is kind of a big deal when you're squatting. So anyway, so that's it. After this, I went into squats. I did, I think I went up to 145 for like one rep, and then mostly I was trying to hit my, like 135 is what I'm determining to be my new training max, my 80%. And if I train my 80% as often as I can, I'm confident that I'll be able to hit a new PR. Every few months I should be hitting some sort of PR. It won't be like a huge jump. It'll just be by like maybe 10 or so pounds every time. But basically my PR right now is 275. I think I can comfortably hit 285 if I gave myself the right, if I ate well for a week, slept well for a week, and give myself adequate rest time. Like, I could hit a PR. But the thing about PRs is that it's really just an arbitrary number. It is a way of marking your progress. But what happens though is that if you PR too often, your body is just taxed. Because if you look at a max, like, you can't do by definition, you do a max and your body is spent. It's literally the max amount of force your body can produce to lift the weight. And so I think it's more valuable to have a training max instead of just a max, because your real max is how much the heaviest you can lift consistently. And let's say the heaviest you can lift for volume, for like reps, like it's like the heaviest weight you can lift 5 times or 10 times or whatever. That's how strong you are. Like, lifting one thing one time doesn't make you strong. It's being able to do it over and over again. Like, think about laborers when they, let's say, digging holes or laying concrete or whatever. It doesn't matter how much you can do in one try. It matters how long you can go during the day. If you can work all day long, you're considered a really strong person. If you can work construction or anything like that for an extended period of time. Most people can't do that. So that's just my mentality, is like, how much weight can I lift for 5 sets? Like 5 sets of 1 rep. Or let's say, how much weight can I do for 5 reps? That's my mentality to determine where I'm at strength-wise. So, with that being said, let me think of anything else. I'm trying to rack my brain. So, one concept, like, this is more of a personal thing in my life right now. One concept I'm trying to work through right now is that, like, I get new ideas all the time, and it's not so hard for me to find ways to teach myself about life. What I really care about and what I'm passionate about is how can I apply these things to other people's lives? How can I explain the things that I know, the things I understand, in a way where other people will change the way they live and be happier, be better people. The thing is that oftentimes when it comes down to it, I don't have proof. I don't have a way of making you know something. Really, the only way, the burden of proof is kind of on everyone. Not it's not on me. I already proved to myself that I know these things, that I believe these things, that I'm living these things. What has to happen is that every single individual has to be open to receiving new knowledge. And if you are open to receiving new knowledge, that has to mean by definition that you're also willing to change the way you act. And so I've struggled for a while trying to find ways to prove things to people, because I believe that like things need to change in order for everyone to be happier. But what I was kind of misguided in thinking that everyone thinks the same as me, everyone is the same as me. Obviously I didn't think that, but it was almost like I made that assumption that if people could just see the way I see, then they would change the way that they live. And I don't know if that's exactly true. What I do know is that everyone has the opportunity themselves to look for knowledge, look for light and truth. And if they find it, and if they make it their own, then they can make differences in their lifestyle. So that's why I think we have a hard time sometimes getting like some kind of I don't know if it's coherence or like cohesiveness. That's the right word. Cohesiveness of like being able to work together and come together as communities. Like you see, even like relationships, marriages, like all these will eventually fail unless you change the way you act, change the way you see things. Because just like particle fusion, as two particles get closer and closer together, the forces that repel them grow as well. And eventually it gets to the point where like you need some extreme force to force them together, and it produces that explosion. That's why nuclear fusion bombs are more powerful than nuclear fission bombs, right? Just a kind of a random way to make the concept understandable. But as two people or as a community gets closer together, we're going to have to figure out what are the forces that are separating us, and then figure out what are the stronger forces that we need that will bring us together. And as we focus on coming together, hopefully we can create that kind of that synergy, or produce that energy like a nuclear power plant, produce the energy that will power all of society, our lives, our reality. It's not going to be easy, but it will be the most worthwhile thing we do. Coming together and becoming like a whole, like a colony, a cohesive unit that just gets things done. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to create, is a community that can do anything and everything together. But sometimes it's hard, just because we have our own personal things going on. And that's why I think everyone needs to be encouraged to do their own learning. I wish I could tell all of you what I know, what I believe, and what drives me. And I really do think that if everyone could take a peek inside my head, they would be better for it. But I also think that I would be better for by listening to anyone else that has anything to say. I think that's just a general rule of life, is that when you can see things from another person's perspective, you're going to gain knowledge and gain insight. So we should all be practicing that. That's my opinion. Anyway, that's it for me. Hope you guys have a great one, and I'll see you later.